So Bant control, playing in a tap land, both planes tap land, hallowed fountain, just draw go. So the first couple rounds is going to be draw go, draw go, draw go. Playing a flooded strand, nice WKMCQ promo from Stefan, and we are on the way. So playing a Glacial Fortress into Stoneforge Mystic, searching up probably a Battle Skull or a Culture Complete. And yeah, we are off to the races here. Stefan fetching a Triumph, going down to 19, playing another. So Hallowed Fountain, going down to 17. Prismatic Ending for 2 to get rid of the Stoneforge Mystic. And just considering what land to play from Salvation. Finding a basic island, pitching for 19. Well, there was a Field of Ruin on the Triumph. That's why. Fetch land, Windswept Heath from Stefan. So the reason I picked the control mirror, since just how, Teferi down, this is something that's huge. Oh yes, let me update the stream deck as quickly. Playing a Teferi of his own, both Teferis on the board, plusing Teferi, going up to 5. Stefan playing missing Stefan's sideboard, but I do have it was just a technical area. He's got Celestial Produce, got 2 Veil of Summers. What else does he have? So just fetching down to 16, just to get his colors on. So it's really a question of who can get rid of the Teferi first. It's kind of a Teferi lock here. So these are always interesting matchups because it's about when to pull the trigger, when to actually commit to the board. And Teferi uses the control mirror breaker, then they both have that down, so it really is down to who can answer this Teferi, because counterspells are dead in this match now. So is it Solitudes? Is it the Memory Deluge? Is it the Creatures of Ice Fang? So let's see what we have here. So a Prismatic Ending. Okay, Ice Fang coming down, no flash, drawing a card. So Stefan playing one of each, the River Falls and just the one River Falls to the green blue land to allow him to turn on Ice Fang. It's a death touch, and yeah. The slow game might sometimes feel boring, but it's actually one of the better ways of learning and experiencing Magic is learning how to play control. At first, a newer player doesn't understand the timings, how to kind of interact with the stack, when to pull the trigger, and that's something that the more mature players kind of comes through, get to enjoy that style of There's I think there is sound. Can you hear? I can see the mic going off. Maybe you need to unmute the wolf. If you guys want to watch a great game, just reach in and watch Enrico versus Jacques. Or is it Murktide? Okay. Better skill coming down. Really big. 4/4 lifelink. Germ token. Okay, yeah. I kind of keep it a little low to stop it from popping. Is that a little bit higher? Yeah, I'm just also talking a little low because I don't want the players to hear any of the cards that might be revealed. Or it's like, is it lost goal? Does it sound a bit better? I'll boost it up. Can you get the thing? I just don't want it to pop every time I say that. I need to invest over time into this. This is right now us kind of enjoying our hobbies here. So last goal, I wanted to ask if you ever played some Magic, if there's ever, are you an essay, why you guys haven't kind of joined in on the competitive action here. Ooh, Tamio, nice. Tamio, really good for, really good for this, because whenever a creature deals combat damage, it is allowed to draw a card. I think that's the +2 coming from Eldritch Moon. It's not a card you usually get to see because no one really plays Bant, and that's what I love about Stefan. He plays cards he loves, very similar to me. Whether they do well, it's a whole different story. But Stefan's got 2 draws, I think, to his name, and yeah, we are watching this control mirror. So plussing, I think, to tap a creature. So tapping the battle skull. I think it's tap for the turn. So you aren't able to attack with it. So just putting it off the side to know that it's unavailable to tap because equipment don't tap in Magic. So nice way. If you watch Rashawn playing Hammer Time, he has Metallic Rebuke, which kind of abuses that because he has enchantments or artifacts on the field that he can just tap to, that are always sitting there untapped to pay for mana. So a nice way of getting that advantage. So Sebastian checking here, both kind of hitting the land drops. Stefan missing a land drop, so usually an advantage in the control mirrors because when it comes down to firing off the stack, it means that you have to have the mana, so it all comes down to that mana efficiency. So if you're not hitting your land drops when it comes down to time, for instance, not having to pitch a card to Solitude is great advantage here. Everything happening almost at sorcery speed in this control mirror, very exiling it. Stefan gaining a life off Ice Fang, going up to 17. For those of you joining us, thank you. We're kind of reaching our peak. For those of you from the States, we're based in South Africa. For those of you in SA, we're based in Joburg, and we're hosting our next Gauteng Champions League at Top Deck on the 2nd of May. Supreme Verdict dealing with this, so going for the 1-for-1. These are big mana decks, and there's a bit of creatures in it, so not pure control in the traditional sense, where it's all counter spells. This is almost like a creature control. Same reason why Stefan's playing the Tamio, because it provides him with card advantage and allows him to kind of attack through when not everything, when the board kind of gets stalled. So Solitude getting destroy a Supreme Verdict can't be counted. Also really great in these control mirrors, well, especially the creature control mirrors, more so than your classic control where those might be dead cards. So Sebastian untapping here, really taking some time to think. I also put the control mirrors because it's nice and long since our backup stream battery died, so I didn't want us to kind of sit and wait for the rounds to end. Yeah, unfortunately we didn't get our full 16 players as we usually want for the 4-4 groups. Ooh, culture complete. This is a 5-5 hasty boy, allowing him, so I think Sebastian's probably going to target the Teferi to... Was he attacking Stefan? Yep, taking the Teferi, unlocking his counter spells. This is a huge, huge one. Yeah, as I said earlier, it's always going to come down to who can deal with the Teferi first, with the prismatic ending, with it, and both players are trying to play the spells to get in. Tamio still keeping the. Let me bring up Tamio. Let me check into Tamio. Let me get the Oracle text of Tamio because it's Tamio Shadows. I think it's Tamio Field Researcher, yeah. So the +1 is up to 2, choose up to 2 creatures until the next turn. Whenever either of those creatures deal combat damage, draw a card. -2, tap up to 2 target non-land permanents. Oh, that's amazing. So it might also kind of come out in the control mirror. Eternal Witness, played for Stefan, thinking about what he would like to return from the graveyard. Or did I miss that? And then the -7 or the ultimate, draw 3 cards and you get an emblem when you cast spells from your hand without paying their mana cost. Very, very powerful. So let's see. Returning prismatic ending. Returning the Teferi. Okay, knowing the power level of Teferi. Using the March to exile the Germ token. Yep. Nice way of dealing with the Cauldron. Tamio plussing up, disallowing. So if Eternal Witness does deal combat damage, he gets to draw a card. So Sufficient kind of got the tempo. It's very difficult to tell who's ahead in these control mirrors. Both have full grips of cards, both have all their lands. The board's pretty stable. And this is a usual thing when you find between control mirrors. You'll see that both players 8 to 10 lands, maybe even 12, 13 if the game goes really long. And just to... Ooh, there's a Colonnade. That's a nice land for Subversion. The passive blocker that can't be countered, can't be dealt with unless at instant speed because of Teferi. So we are kind of just at this board stall. Subversion probably knowing that the counterspell is going to come down at some time, or Teferi was going to come down. So plussing, playing instant speed Supreme Verdict because of Teferi's +1 ability. This is something you will see generally happen with the Teferi on the battlefield, allowing sorceries to be cast at instant speed. However, if the other Teferi was not on the table, this wouldn't be an option. So still holding up 3 mana from Subversion to play Teferi. Question is, does he have a counterspell? So with a I think March of the Otherworldly Light I'm not sure if it can target planeswalkers. I think it can target creatures, enchantments, and artifacts, but not planeswalkers from Subversion's hand. So Teferi hits the battlefield. Interesting. +1, -1 to bounce to draw a card. Looking for the card advantage. I see a Jace in Stefan's hand. Also a nice win condition for the control game. Stefan passing the turn, Subversion untapping. question is now, Bant's gonna battle Skull so that he can replay it possibly, or maybe holding it up to. So playing the card complete again, paying 7 mana, it hits the thing. Stefan, oh, can't counter it. Tamio coming down, taking it down. Land drop for Savation. Yeah, so Teferi's kind of make it a little bit easier, you know, and this control band mirrors to just, you can close your eyes and let your things hit the board. That representing a germ token for Savation. And a fetch from Stefan for 16. I just want to double check our live titles to make sure that I've captured everything. I'll be back soon. So it's 18 to 19. Jace onto the table. For those of you tuning in, this is the Champions League. We kind of structured the game to have separate groups, and then everyone feeds into a final single elimination. This is the last round of the group stages. So the top 4 from each group get to go into the single elimination pods, with the first and second from first and fourth from each group on one leg, first and second from the other leg, and then allowing people to kind of push through. So let's see what's Stefan fetching here, going up to 17. You know, lifestyle is not really mattering in this match, not unless it's all about who gets that advantage ahead and then plays ahead. Stefan playing a Snapcaster. Playing a Prisma Otherworld Light. Getting -1, -1. 0 -1, exiling the germ token. So Calder really doing a lot of work in these control modes. It's usually one of the enchantment it's there against control because it's requiring an exile effect. However, in the recent printings and the recent sets, exiling the creatures have become quite a common theme, with Prismatic Ending, with much of the Otherworldly Light, Solitude. Those exile effects are becoming a little bit more common in the white removal suite compared to the previous Path to Exile, which was the kind of premier removal that from so Salvation kind of moving towards that Celestial Colonnade to attack. I think attacking Jace, because Jace is such a good card advantage engine, having that Brainstorm option, especially when there's no threat. +2 plussing on Teferi just to. Now the real question is, how does Salvation protect his Teferi from the Snapcaster? What's his options that he's going for here? I'm not sure. Yeah, there we go. March, exiling, and ending, if I'm not mistaken. Um, yeah. So keeping really showing that how important this Teferi is in this matchup. Playing a Archmage's Charm because the counterspell option is worthless, but drawing 2 cards or divination is an amazing option here. Just digging a little bit deeper, trying to hit more land drops, maybe find a way to get that Teferi off the battlefield. Subversion trying to work back up to the Teferi, where he can play, bounce the collar again, try get the germ token again. And just a note, Stefan is running 3 Eternal Witnesses, so has that grindy engine of Eternal Witness. Ooh, Teferi, big Teferi, allowing him to tuck the little Teferi. I think that's probably the best option, so that when it does come back down, he's got the option of countering it or dealing with it. And this is a massive win condition for Stefan. I think Stefan is running 2 big Teferis, whereas same thing with Sebastian. So first player to kind of get their big win con, both little Teferis holding off holding off the counter spells has been amazing. Maybe not in terms of watching in the classic way. Not everyone enjoys control mirrors, and this mainly because it's slow. It's kind of like watching test match cricket or that slow grindy games versus nice aggro tempo compared to our previous game where Jacques and Enrico were just back and forth. It almost felt like a rally between one player playing this, blood mooning, taking the wind out of the next person's side. Whereas this is a little different, which I thought was more appropriate after watching that last match. Also because this increases the ability to play through control or to play control is a higher level. Using your answers at the right moment, using the answers to making sure your answers line up over time is insanely difficult. But as you get better at understanding the meta, what cards, and you really have to know your opponent's deck really well. So as you go into these professional scenes, as you know, the Pro Tour has coming back. We need to kind of address those things. So, pro players can play any deck. Just give them a deck, and can turn their cards sideways and win, regardless. They don't need to get their deck guides. They just know how. Oh, yes, another Teferi. Okay, bouncing the other Teferi. So, tucking away the win con. So that's something that I would have thought would have gone for Stefan, but chose not to. Chose to play the Ice Fang. Prismatic Ending. Land drop, planes, plus on Teferi. So another 2 turns, and you can bounce the Battle Skull and start to get that card advantage engine going. Fetching from Stefan, going to 16. Confirm life totals. Sometimes not having someone on the floor, just being the only person behind the desk and organizing and ensuring all the matches are going. "25 minutes left on the round," and yeah, so usually these control mirrors come down to who win the first game, who's available to kind of get that win, and then it's all about that first game. So sometimes if your decks aren't tuned to deal with a control mirror in game 1, you can end up losing your a match or in the finals or just in a general tournament because you weren't able to complete the second game or third game. And this is something that, as you get competitive in terms of competitive play, you want to consider, right? It's like giving yourself the fresh hand of the next game and just calling it, saying, "Hey, this game's out of my reach." Playing, but this game's obviously still looks like in both side players' favor. Looks like Teferi's been down, so Stefan finally getting rid of it. Also recognizing that if Teferi is bounces the call complete, and he doesn't have a possible response, but it's also very hard to deal with. So Colonnade tapping out, going for a full, giving vigilance, 4/4 flying creature, Ice Fang flashed in to block, I'm guessing, drawing on Stefan a card. Definitely got Death Touch with all the snow lands available. So Sedition decided not to attack. I think there was a timing mistake from Stefan there, playing it before Sedition announced combat. And tapping, I'm going to just double check life totals just to make sure. Not that it matters, but it's nice to have integrity. Yeah, we are sitting 16 and 18. Huh? You can speak to Peter. So, yeah. So, sorry guys, it looks like this is a slow match. And so Battlestar also been exiled. Colonnade getting fired up. Is that a nice another Ice Fang from Stefan? Oh, playing 4 mana. Ooh, Restoration Angel. Oh, nice. I forgot that was in the day. Bounces Ice Fang, draws a card. Nice value. I think this is slowly moving towards Stefan. Stefan getting his recursive threats, getting a little bit of extra card advantage from Resto, getting a card advantage from Eternal Witness. So I got built in some resilience. Oh, I forgot. Sedition's actually not blue-white control, it's actually blue-white Stone Blade. So, let me just... But it does kind of feel like a controlled tempo matchup, with the two decks kind of backwards and forwards trying to get that advantage slowly. Now we're kind of moving into the late game here. So, there's a Shock Typhoon. So, 2 Shock Typhoons for Stefan. Cycling the Shock Typhoon. Not worrying about getting a 3/3. Possibly trying to get rid of the Teferi. Take a little run. Targeting the Castle Ventress. Still fine. Using the scry effect. Putting on top, on bottom. And I've not seen anything good on the top to keep, so on both bottom, just shuffling. Gets a land. For those of you who aren't joining us, please hit the follow button to we'll also post a link to our YouTube channel. Which is here. So all the matches can be viewed, posted up later for us to enjoy after this games. And the idea behind recording these matches is as you become move towards more competitive play, you want to have the ability to review the way you played or what you did wrong, because this provides you with bettering yourself. It's the same way as a movement therapist. I take pictures of people before they start, while they're called, rather than when they're warmed up, because this is your natural position. And as you take the pictures, if you don't have anything to review back, you don't have a way of checking, a way of adjusting, right? The way the body's moved, has it improved? Have you gotten better? And if we don't have these things in SA, we're not likely to improve as a community. Untap. Is that a control? Is that a counterspell? Yeah, fine. Last thing. Oh, this Teferi is doing work. I think there was a supreme verdict to deal with the creatures on Stefan's side. I missed that. I just see all the restos and another Shark Typhoon. Playing it, hardcasting it. No, that means every spell that Stefan pays. This was why I was surprised you cycled the previous one, because this really is a control beater, you know. Every spell you're playing, getting you a shark, whether it's 1-1, whether it's a 2-2, whether it's a 3-3, just a flying blocker. So, question here for Subversion is he's got a march in his hand, whether to pay the full exile that, but that takes up all his mana, and you can't interact on the stack because of Teferi, so counter spells are out of the question. Yeah. Just checking libraries. Ooh, Stoneforge. What is it gonna find? There's Cauldra, Battleskull. Those are the only two options. Paying 7. Taking Teferi down. For third or fourth time, this. Now Cauldra really just Teferi hating today. I mean, I think if we're in for this Cauldra, I don't know if Sebastian would be in this game. It's taken down 3 or 4 planeswalkers over the course of this game, taking Tiamio, taking down Jace, taking Teferi. So finding another Teferi. Okay, counterspell. Okay.
2-1 for me.
Okay, that's a result. 2-1 to Jacques. And you can see the Jujutsu. I'm not sure. We don't get to see. Oh, you can click on standings there. 2-1 to Jacques, eh?
Yeah.
Cool. Oh, this control mirror is ridiculous.
It's on third.
No, well, that hasn't taken into account the scores for this round.
But on third or fourth.
Yeah.
So I'll be third.
Yeah, you get through. You'll probably be through. So we're just checking the standings. Last 20 minutes. I score. So Stoneforge is indestructible. Very balance, puts the Stoneforge 3 cards down. So he's got a 3/3 from the previous, from the Teferi, and the current Teferi, the big Teferi coming down, giving him 5. So I feel like Sebastian is on the back foot. If I think in this position I might have conceded and moved to a game 2, just hoping that I can kind of get a fast, aggressive start to get through. So Hugh, so I need to check the scores. So this looks like it's going to be a 1-0 to. It's a big Teferi for. This is a tight one. I think this is definitely slipping away from Sebastian as bouncing the shot type here, knowing that it is the reason.
Is there a spot where I can quickly plug in my laptop and do some work? I'm looking for the bathroom.
Just this one, yeah. Right here.
Oh, okay. And then did you get our score? It was 2-0 to me.
Okay, you.
Thanks.
2-0 to you. 2-0. Herman 2-0. Brandon, JR 2-0. So finish event. So just quickly, you can have a look at the standings while we go through. So this is the who's left. So those are the players from Group A. So Brandon, Rashawn, J.O. and Harman going through. And we'll go back to the match. So waiting for a result. The next one is Enrico and Kiran still playing. Sebastian and Stefan are on. So Group A has finished. We just have to wait through. We're going to take a little bit of a break, just to allow everyone some lunch. Options to eat. So this is the last round of Swiss. Ice Fang eating a ma. Solitude. Cameron going undefeated in his group. Just confirming the board state. No tokens, no player. So yeah, just a little bit of checking on timings on all the thing. That was just on there. TF1 flashed it in on his turn, or on his end step rather. Just confusing, just to make sure he was supposed to flash it in for the ephemerate trigger. Playing one ephemerate for the value. Yeah. So this is a long game, and this is why Control is one of the harder matches to play, because Control Mirrors is a highly skilled, intensive requirement. Not to say that both these players are terrible, it means just these both players are really well versed in the decks. Stefan loving Control, same for Subversion, myself as well. To be honest, I started to fall in love with all types of decks in Modern, whether it be tempo, whether it be control, whether it be aggro. Just learning to play that is a requirement as we wish to improve our skills, to become better players. So yeah, we've got less than 6 minutes left. Solitude coming down. So just thinking about the stack here. So yeah, coming down. Yeah. So both players going to need to find a way of closing out this game one, right? To find out, because as it stands,
Thanks, man.
yeah,
Having fun so far?
yeah,
I'm on 3.
yeah,
Guys. So
yeah.
I'm hoping for the best.
Yeah, if you want to go grab some beers, you can do it quick. You go down on the right hand side, down the road.
Yeah.
It's basically at this robot you turn right, and then 2 robots down. There's a bottle store. It should be closing in the next hour.
Thanks, man. But I think Jock said he's going to order.
No, I mean it's close here. It's like it'll come to you faster.
Okay, I'll talk to him.
Yeah, if you just yeah, it's because it's an adult venue. We're allowed to drink. So just checking how the things. Stefan So if Stefan pulls a win, he'll probably push up a little bit higher, taking 2 draws. But so this is kind of a must-win for Stefan to just get his standings a little higher. But if the results stay as it is, it seems that it seems like both players will still go through. So maybe not forcing a result, but that also would be dependent on Enrico or Kieran also drawing there. So still open, still kind of has to come down to a result. And let's see. 4 minutes. I'll just let the players know. 4 minutes left. So yeah, I just had to give the guys the heads up because this is kind of someone needs to find a win con now. Time on the round. So yeah, the time is only 3 minutes. So this is a very long. Just for the players because they need to kind of find a win condition to try and get this game over. Otherwise, I don't know if a draw helps unless Kieran and Enrico draw. So there's a fighting chance for all of these players. So a result will secure the person versus. So unfortunate. Yeah, just reading all the abilities that Caldric comes. I don't think it gives trample. I think that's the one thing it doesn't give. Unless it does, and that might change the way it blocks. Let me double check that for us. Caldra complete. Oh no, it does give trample. So definitely taking out the. Was it the Teferi? Nothing. Drawing and tapping. Also, first strike allows it to attack through an Ice Fang, so the death touch not really mattering there. Yeah, very tight situation. Let's check if there's time on the round here, because 1 minute left. So Yeah, so that's time on the round. Just had to go and let everyone know. Yeah, so both matches going to time on both sides here. So this is the final round. So this will determine who kind of gets into the single elimination bracket. And damn, this has been a long game. And this is one of the most grindiest matchups. And so bouncing the solitude, letting it go. The dice in the center just indicating turn 1 for Stefan. So playing a new Teferi, getting it 3-3. So player here takes will probably go through.
Don't worry, you're gonna withdraw everything from my winnings anyway.
So I'm just busy organizing some beers for the guys in the background. I just forgot I had that, and I know everyone was craving it, so feels like everyone's celebrating before they get into the final rounds. Solitude here doing a block, protecting the life total and padding it with the life gain or life link. So turn 2, 7 power on the board. I'm going to confirm the life totals just to make sure we get this last few rounds as they were intended. So the life total is at 36.23. So clearly I'm not paying to anything. 36 for that side. So yeah, 36. I think it's 23 on this way. So this does look like it's going to be a draw. We got a result from the other side. So yeah, that was a 2-1 win by Kieran. Jacques also winning 2-1. So yeah, what a way final game for this final round. So usually in our Champions League we only have 4 players per group because we had a little smaller entry this time. We had 6, and this is a reason why the rounds kind of take a little bit longer. So the idea behind the Champions League to have the smaller rounds is to allow the games to circulate. Each pod operates independently, and then all feeding into the single elimination, top two, feeding in. But because we only have 2 groups this time, that extra game kind of makes it draw out a little bit longer, but we also had a lot of control and mid-range decks in this meta compared to the previous one where we had a bit more aggressive style decks. So Cryptic Command, countering. Yeah. I like it, man. Yeah. This was good Magus, was this? This was Geo. Yeah.
Tell him I said thanks.
Pleasure. I like it. Yeah, just watch the sheets aside. Just
Oh shit, sorry.
Yeah. You can slip them off and feel relaxed today. Oh, it's been a tense match.
Did I finish last in the group or second last?
We're still waiting for Stefan and them to know, because this you know like it will. Yeah. Because if they draw, it might still, because you won, right?
No, I've had 2 losses and a draw.
Yeah. So this is also 2 losses. So
So
yeah.
the others, there's already 4 people that wins.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Right. Draw. So that's a draw. Kind of expected, but and